Welcome back to the Nine Nation Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Nazareth, and I'm joined by Zach Lowell, who is the SERV Team Environment and Animals Committee Lead. So SERV stands for Students Engaging in Rewarding Volunteer Experiences, and this episode will be focusing on some cool volunteer service efforts that they do in the Charlotte community and how anyone can participate in any of these great events and experiences. So Zach, what makes you care so much about volunteering?
I would definitely just say I was looking to get involved in college the same way that I was involved in high school with volunteering through the student organization that was in high school. Like, we would volunteer all the time. So I was looking to do that here in the Charlotte community as well. I didn't really know how to do that initially, but through the Emerging Leaders Program, the advisors for that program also advises this program as well. And that kind of pulled me in there. And I'm kind of driven by just trying to help people out and be involved in your community, make a difference.
Yeah, those are all great reasons. And I think there's a lot of reasons why people should volunteer. Like, a lot of people tend to look at it as, why should I spend the time on that? But you really get a lot out of it as well, personally, by meeting a whole bunch of people, checking out new things, and also mainly supporting the causes that these things are, because there are a lot of big issues in Charlotte that need to be solved. Yeah. And SERV Team focuses on having multiple different committees in how that works. Do you want to talk about how SERV Team's organized?
Yeah, for sure. I think a big part of that too is through volunteering. You also just learn so much. As much as you're helping other people, you're learning so much from them as well. So that's been really refreshing too. But basically, how SERV Team works is it's made up of 5 committees. So I'm the student director for the Environment and Animals Committee. We also have 4 other committees entitling health, and then also youth and education, as well as food and housing and security. And then the last one there is going to be special topics. So they focus on a variety of different topics for different communities within the Charlotte area that aren't maybe funded as much as other communities here.
Yeah, and then you have an overall director and then graduate.
Right, yeah. So we have my direct supervisor is the graduate assistant, Kayla, and then we also have a student director that oversees the entire committee. That's going to be Justine. Yeah.
Nice. So what exactly has your committee been up to this year? I used to be a part of Environment and Animals, and I know you guys have a bunch of different community partners that you work with that are really interesting and engaging. Do you want to talk a bit more about those?
Yeah, for sure. We've worked with Keep Charlotte Beautiful. What they mainly do is help with street cleanups. So through that program, I kind of just see, I don't know, just how wasteful we are. I feel as a collective, we just don't really think about single-use things as much. And we kind of just throw things away, but things don't really ever get thrown away. So what we do through there is just kind of do street cleanups and help clean up the area around Charlotte. We've been doing North Tryon and JW Clay there. And then we've also worked through the Innovation Barn. So they're located in NODA. What they basically do is they do a lot of different projects through recycling and also reusability of different materials. So they've broken down plastics and stuff, and they help to make Legos out of them and reusable cups and different things like that. They also do breakdown of glass and create those into windows, a bunch of different art projects as well. They also have a hydroponics, I believe that's what it's called, center there, where basically they have this big tank full of fish. And you've been there before too?
No,
yeah. Really cool. Yeah, so they have a big tank full of fish, and then they feed them that, and then all the waste basically goes to propagate plants, which is so cool. And then they then sell the plants or give them away as well, which is pretty cool too. And then we've also recently started working with Park CDC. We actually just worked with them last weekend. And basically what we did was we helped them with their solarization initiative. So they're trying to expand their garden. Basically what they do is they have this garden, it's a community garden, and then they bring the food, because they also work with housing as well, to places that have lower income housing, and provide that food to them there at a lower cost. So basically what we did was we helped with their solarization initiatives. We covered a bunch of the ground that's not currently being used for crops with a big black tarp. Basically the sun kills all the weeds and the grass under there, and then they're able to plant new crops there come next spring. We're actually going to go back there in a couple months to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Nice. The Keep Charlotte Beautiful ones I always found really fun.
Yeah.
Because originally when you hear trash cleanup, you're oh, that's kind of maybe not that interesting. But we found some pretty cool stuff. We found a fire extinguisher once.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we found a shopping cart, and then they put all this stuff in there that they found. Found a full-on pristine pair of hiking boots just sitting there.
Yeah.
As if there was a... Yeah, that was interesting. So there were some cool finds.
I think no matter what you do with volunteering, it may sound boring or a lot of hard work. What we did the last weekend was just a lot of physical manual labor. But also at the same time, like if you're working with like a bunch of other people, like that's like the kind of great part about it is that you're also like bonding through that experience too. So it always just proves to be a fun time, you know?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is like the bonds and connections and also like the causes you're doing. Because like while it may seem small, it's like always has a larger impact. Like an example of that is there's a place I go to in New Mexico, like for volunteering sometimes and like high adventure stuff. And one of the service projects that we did there was we built a trail. We were starting to build a trail. It was for a few hours, and we got a little bit of the way there. But as we were talking through it, they said the people who have worked here and volunteered here have built enough trails between here and the 2 airports that fly here, like way over that distance between the multiple times they've come here. And I'm like, that's amazing because like we built, and the other cool thing is like we built that trail kind of near the entrance of the property. So people can see that. And like maybe if I go back, I'll be able to see that or at least know that. And I think that collective spirit of this is what we're gonna do, and it was also just really fun to do, and like you meet a whole bunch of people. So
Definitely. I think that's also like another reason why maybe a lot of people like don't feel as inclined to volunteer because it's like, oh, like I don't know that I can make a difference. But like you don't realize like how small of like something that you're doing like actually makes like a large impact in the long run, like you just said.
Yeah, I agree. It's mostly about planting the seeds and seeing how they come out of it. Yeah. So have you got to do any tree planting as well, kind of on the topic?
Not yet. We haven't really been able to do that. I actually do know of an organization. We aren't working with them, unfortunately, this year, but through Charlotte. I think it's called Tree Charlotte. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but like their main initiative is to like expand the canopy within Charlotte. So like they just work on like planting trees like wherever they can. But I wasn't able to work with them this year. But
nice. But yeah, you have options, you have time. And, and that's the other cool thing is you guys get to schedule the projects that you want to do and kind of organize it so you can be dynamic in terms of what you get to pick and choose. I think the Innovation Barn specifically was really, really cool because of the amount of stuff that you guys have there because it's a facility in Noda and they have recycled 3D printing materials where you can put stuff in and then it comes out. And then they also have like beehives there and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do. So they actually just started like a new like pollinator initiative too. So they did like a whole new like garden and everything. And they're planning on doing a couple events in the spring as well. But where they're working with like a bunch of pollinators to try and increase that 'cause that's another big issue. I mean globally, but also like here in North Carolina too, is that we're losing a lot of like native like pollinators, and that kind of is what allows us to have all of our food. And some people don't like realize that, but that's kind of what provides us with like fresh crops and stuff like that, and the ability to have those. So yeah.
Nice. And then I kind of talked about this earlier in the episode with Michaela about LCE, but additionally, like the events you guys have, you can be a leader of them or you can just participate in them. Like not you don't like the level of engagement is really up to you, but I think getting any amount out of it can be really rewarding. Because when I was a freshman, I just went to these events and I just met different people and that was fun. But at the same time, you can also be able to lead events like what you're doing as a student director or just be a committee member. So you kind of do you want to talk more about like what your role is on like a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'll start with like the main point of Serve Team is like for us to be able to do that outreach to the general student body to be able to get more people involved in volunteering. So I do definitely think that's like the most important role is having those additional volunteers that maybe aren't on a committee specifically or have a certain role or anything like that within the organization. That's kind of like the whole point of Serve Team is to kind of bring people out to these that maybe wouldn't have heard about it before and just heard about it through like marketing and stuff. But through my role, basically what I do is I work within the office. So I have basically connections with all these different community partners. It's my job to kind of plan out when the dates are, what works for my committee. So I have a committee of 3 other people. Somebody serves as a not coordinator. Somebody serves as a marketing person. We also have publicity, and then the last one is going to be logistics. And education, publicity, education, marketing, and logistics. So basically, what I do is I have direct contact with all of the community partners and help plan out like the dates and everything. And then I also help with posting stuff as well, but also just making sure that I delegate those tasks as well to the rest of my team because they're wanting to get involved and they really help out tremendously with that. So
yeah. Yeah, so I just was curious a little bit more about like where your interests lie in this. So you obviously are the committee lead, but you're also involved in some other outdoor program stuff, like you're a venture outdoor leader and stuff like that. So like, where are your kind of interests? Do you think this is something you want to do as like a career? Is it just something you like to do for your personal time? Kind of a bit of both?
Yeah, I would say a bit of both. I mean, career-wise, I am majoring in mechanical engineering, as you know. You're also in the same major as me as well. But also I do see where they can all kind of fit together. Volunteering, I think, especially under this committee, definitely links to what I'm trying to do with learning more about outdoor leadership and things like that as well. I never did any of that before I got into college, so now my whole thing is like trying to learn everything about, like, I'm taking a wilderness trip leading class through the venture office. Well, I'm also working for them now as well. So just learning everything about like what it means to go backpacking and how to plan a trip and how to do navigation and kind of accounting for that. Being able to lead groups is another big thing too. So that's kind of where my experience with leadership comes into being able to do that through venture as well. They also do like kayaking and I'm going on a caving trip, which is pretty cool. Like I've never would have thought that I've been doing caving, but that was something that they offered for new vaults, and I was like, sure, why not? Why not learn? So I'm gonna be able to do that too. But yeah, it's been pretty great to be able to kind of join like additional organizations and kind of see like where all those things kind of come to a head as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really thought, to be honest, I was just guessing, but I thought you did that kind of stuff in like high school was my honest guess.
No, yeah, it's completely new to me, but I'm like I don't know. I think I've fell in love with it like from what I've done so far, and I've always known that I like love the outdoors. But just like being able to go backpacking, and I think eventually like lead trips as well. One of my really good friends from freshman year did the Knowles program through, because he's like a Levine scholar, so they're like required to do it. But he mentioned at one point like leading trips eventually, so that might be something like I thought about doing it like as soon as I get out of college, doing like a trip, and then after that finding like a more permanent job, but maybe doing like a trip for a month through Knowles if I can get in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great learning experience, and you definitely get to like, learn about a bunch of different activities through that, and I've kind of done some similar stuff, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, but I was looking into some stuff you did through high school. I thought it was really interesting that I didn't know you were student body president, and I also didn't know that you were like a president of a bunch of different honor societies or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also like very involved in college as well, but in high school I was very involved. So I was in student organization, student government since like my freshman year and all the way up to my senior year. I was student body president, and I really loved it. And I think that definitely my everything's built off like who you have for mentors, I think. And I don't know, I realized that more throughout like my college experience and like life in general. But I had a really great mentor, my principal and advisor for high school, that kind of led me to be able to, I think, be in like some of the organizations that made me who I am today for here as well. As much as Michaela has also done some of that as well. So yeah.
That's great. I also saw that you did track for 4 years. What were your events?
Yeah. So I ran hurdles in high school. Yeah. So I ran the 55 and then the 100 hurdles. I honestly wasn't the best at it, but I still loved it anyway. Like I never made it to states or like nationals or anything like that, but I still just loved the heck out of it and was always trying to be there. So
that's great. Yeah, I was a sprinter as well. I did when I did indoor, I would do 55 and 100 stuff like that. Cool. But yeah, for outdoor, I'd do 100, 200, 4x1, and 4x2 for relays. So I was into that stuff.
I ran the relay like maybe once or twice and it was not my favorite, but I know other people like ate it up too. So were you like were you like front runner? Were you anchor? Or?
I would alternate between like front runner and anchor. More so when I was a senior, I was anchoring. Okay. And that was I loved my track team. Yeah. A lot of them actually, funny enough, go to Charlotte.
Oh really?
But yeah, none of us like really like only one or two of us like still run like for the school but like we're all pretty active and do our own thing. I just think it's really interesting that a lot of our track team goes here.
Yeah, that is pretty. Are you from North Carolina or?
Yeah. So I'm from Cary, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm from Massachusetts. Yeah. So I came a little bit of a far way. I came down here originally to be like closer to my brother and my sister, but this also just proved to be like the best school. I think when I was touring schools and stuff like this campus just kind of blew all the other schools out of the water. And what they offer through the engineering program as well was obviously like a big like deciding factor as well. Just seeing what they're able to do with race cars and just every single aspect, because I'm not really interested in motorsports, but also like I know that's why a lot of people come here, and I can see like the appeal for that too. So
I think it's really interesting the amount of people who come from the north and come from New England. Yeah. Because technically I was born in New Hampshire. But I mean I moved down here when I was like really young. But either way, my roommates when we first roomed here were all like New England fans. Like one of them was from New England themselves, and I thought that was really ironic. So I think that's interesting. And same with motorsports. I feel like a lot of people are drawn to here. Yeah. One of my friends from California came here because of that, and I'm like, that's amazing because our school's really well known for that as well. Yeah.
Have you gone like hiking or anything in New Hampshire? Because I have gone. We've done a couple trips in high school. I went with some of my friends to do like trips in New Hampshire, and it's gorgeous out there. Same thing with Vermont too. I don't know if you've been to Vermont.
I've wanted to go back. I have not as yet.
Yeah.
I went to New York for a trip once, and my parents got to go back for the first time in like years. But yeah, I haven't been able to go back yet. I do want to because I've heard the mountains are really beautiful up there.
Yeah, I want to get back there actually, probably within the next like year or something, because it's just I miss it to a point, you know. As much as it's so cold, I'm like I don't know if I can handle the cold anymore.
That's the one thing for me. I don't do
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
I mean, like I love fun-loving cold activities. I've dabbled. I've done some dog sledding.
Okay.
Some neat things, some skiing.
Yeah. You've done dog sledding?
Yeah,
Like,
I have done
no
dog sledding.
way, that's so
yeah,
cool.
in Minnesota.
oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was a trip lead for that.
Through Boy Scouts? Or?
Yeah, for
That
yeah,
is so
Scout
cool.
stuff. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go back last year, but then for the first time ever, they didn't have enough snow.
Yeah.
First time in like 40, 80 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'll definitely be going back eventually to try and do a trip out there.
That is so
They have
amazing.
some pretty neat things. You can stay in igloos and stuff like that.
That is so cool.
So yeah, cool. Have you ever got to go on some cool outdoor trips over the summers?
Not the summers like recently. I feel like I said, I'm like just barely dipping my toe into like outdoor adventure. But like through this class that I'm in, I'll be able to do 2 more backpacking trips. Like right now, they're planned for Pisgah and Black Mountain. So the instructor right now is trying to figure out if we can still go to the places that they were originally planned for, because of the hurricane that hit. It just like wiped out a lot of the places in North Carolina.
Kind of just across a couple states, to be honest.
Yeah, but like over near like Asheville and like out west.
Yeah,
a little bit.
mostly Western North Carolina. Yes.
Western. Yeah. So still trying to figure out if we can like go there, but if not, we'll just end up going somewhere else. But that'll kind of allow me to get more experience there. And like I said, I'm going on like a caving trip. There's also like a bunch of like 1-day like hiking trips that I might end up trying to go on just to kind of get more experience. And I think I'll be able to like lead those too. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat backpacking locations. We can talk regs after.
Yeah.
But, but yeah. So yeah, you're in the biomed concentration store right now?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I haven't heard much about that. So like, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. I've only done 2 courses so far that are like within the biomed classes. So you have to do up to 18 credits. I think I only have 6 credits right now. But by the end of when I graduate, I'll have all 18. But the classes I've taken so far was like an intro class, and then the class I took last semester was actually like one of my favorite classes I've taken since I've been at the school. It's motorsports driver crash safety. So basically, a lot of people are like, that sounds like a motorsports concentration, but it's like a crossover between motorsports and biomedical. The instructor that teaches is actually John Padalecki. He's the lead safety engineer for NASCAR. So like he knows everything that he's talking about because he works through it like every single day. But being able to be in that class and just kind of like hear from him, the way that he sets up his lectures is just like really interesting. And that kind of like introduced me to, I never thought about doing like safety engineering before, and being able to do that through like the biomedical engineering degree. Like when I came through high school, I was kind of just set on like, I want to make prosthetics. I feel like that's what everybody thinks about when they do biomedical. Yeah, right. That's the only option, right? But then you get into it, and it's like you can do so much more stuff. So recently, I've been thinking about doing like safety engineering, and I might be drawn to doing that. So yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's neat. Yeah, there's the Helping Hand Club on campus. I think that
yeah.
makes the prosthetic hands, and they're pretty cool. Have you done any 3D printing?
I've done 3D printing. I actually need to get into it definitely a little bit more. I want to get into the makerspace that we have on campus. I know our friend Sasank that was in EL as well, like used to work through that all the time. But I haven't really had much experience in there, but I definitely want to get in there more often. I should look up the schedule for it for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool place. Yeah. Overall, throughout your time at the university and your work through Serve, have there been any big like aha moments for you, like as a leader, or like in terms of the causes you care about?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just like taking a chance on yourself. You know what I mean? I guess I didn't like see myself in like any of the roles that I currently have, but also like if it makes sense for you, like why not just try it? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like the main thing for like where I am like leadership wise is like I took a chance on myself, and also like I know like what I find like what I'm passionate about, and I guess that's why like I am where I am today.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing I learned in my freshman year was like just taking a chance on things, getting to know different people, different things, different programs.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like, how we've both got in our own ways, got to meet a whole bunch of new people and experience a bunch of new things. So yeah, I would definitely say overall, just try new things. Don't be scared. Like if you don't know how it is, someone can teach you.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things. I think like networking wise too is just like I don't know. You get to meet so many like cool people that are interested in like the same thing that you're doing, especially through like the same like organizations and stuff. But then also at the same time, like I don't know, just like learning from other people's like personal experiences or like through like talking to them is just it's enriching in a way, you know.
Yeah, so overall, are there any opportunities that you recommend students check out based on your experiences?
Freshman year, I definitely think just like look on Niner Engage. I mean, I'm gonna plug Niner Engage really quickly because that's where all our organizations or all of our events are posted to. So look on Niner Engage. But also for organizations and stuff that are on campus, I mean, all of them are posted on there. So you can kind of look up like anything that you're interested in. I mean, we have over I think it's 600.
There's a ton of student
More than
orgs.
yeah. There's a ton of student organizations on campus, like anything that you can think of. So look on there for like what you're interested in or like what drives you, and see if there's anything that maybe like you'd be interested in going to, and just go to their like intro meeting or just show up at like a general body meeting or something and see. I don't know, like if you'd like it, maybe like you'll end up on the board eventually, you know. But it doesn't need to start out that way. You can just start out by just being like a member or visiting like one meeting. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like intimidating. I don't think it rarely ever is.
Yeah, makes sense. So what do you want next for you? Like, what goals do you have, like, for your position, or what you want to do next?
I'm honestly trying to figure out like where I'll be serve team wise for next year. Just I'm trying to plan out like class wise as well. I know like my involvement through junior design, which you're in now, and senior design and stuff too, might kind of take a chip away at those things. But I also still plan on volunteering no matter where I end up in the position as well. So kind of like being able to make the sacrifice there. You know, I've kind of like tussled with it in my head a little bit because I'm so like hard headed. Like I want to stay with the organization, but also like I can do that in different ways as well. But definitely like continuing to volunteer. And then after that too, I actually have a minor through Venture Outdoor Leadership now as well. So I have the Outdoor Leadership minor. So I'll stay committed through those classes and continue to lead in that way as well. And then also making environmental impacts through there as well. I mean, a big thing through there is the 7 principles of being outdoor, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but just making sure that we kind of leave the environment in the backcountry the same way as we saw it when we first entered in there.
Nice. Do you have any favorite memories from your time at the university?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think like the campus. Again, I'm just gonna plug that in there is like a huge thing. Throughout like the years and stuff, just like catching up through like grabbing food at like Chick-fil-A or something like that, or the Botanical Gardens is like one of my favorite places to visit. If you're ever like stressed out or anything, go to the Botanical Gardens. The way that they built it is like it's underneath like the rest of the campus. I don't know if you like noticed when you've been in there. You've been in there before, right?
Yeah. It's a fun place to be. We've done a lot of events for EL through there. We're about to have another one.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, for our PAL group.
Okay, cool. Like you just did like one-on-ones and stuff there, or
We're about to we did our group for like the leadership team.
Yeah.
We met there, and then we're about to probably have our PAL group
that is so cool.
right there.
Yeah, but like once you're under there, basically like you can't see like the rest of the campus because of the way they built it with like all the trees and stuff around it. It's just like a oasis in there as well. So that's been like one of my favorite places to be with friends, and also like favorite things to do. Like if you're ever like stressed out, like I said, just go on a walk and kind of just embrace yourself in the environment without like, I don't know, you kind of forget that you're in a city when you're being here too. So like just like that's been a really nice aspect of being in Charlotte is like you have access to the city whenever you need it, but also like you're not directly in.
You're not in the middle of it, and that's one of my favorite parts is that balance.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so thank you so much, Zach, for being here. Overall, what do you want people to take away most from this conversation?
I think just like get involved. You know what I'm saying? Like just put yourself out there, get involved, feel confident in what you're doing, make a difference in your community. You'll feel so connected to everybody else and so empowered. And I think a lot of times when I leave volunteering, I'm so much happier than I was when I started the day off. So just get involved in whatever way that you can and make a difference with the people that you love and are going to be around in your community.
Awesome. Okay, so that's our time for today. Thank you, Zach, for your insight on Serve and the Charlotte community. Be sure to tune in for the next episode and follow @CurrentsCLT and @the.Nazareth for updates. Thank you to our listeners. And if you are interested in being on an episode, feel free to email or text me. Stay tuned and go Niners.
Go Niners.